Hey everyone, this is Miller,
What's going on, guys? It's Andrew.
and welcome to another episode of Media Talk with Melon Smith. Tonight, we're actually going to do our in-depth review of Beetlejuice. But first, let's actually discuss this past weekend's Emmys. We had a lot of Emmy winners this past weekend.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, there's been one show that has dominated the Emmys, and Shogun. This one, best drama,
Mm-hmm.
best lead actor, best actress, and obviously best costumes. Because let's face it, it was that good of a show, and I saw the show. I'm even reading the book, folks. It's two parts, and it's freaking long. So I have a long way to go. But I did watch the original 1980 miniseries starring Richard Chamberlain, and I'm told with both versions they did a pretty good adaptation, especially this current version. So it was no wonder they won a lot of Emmys.
Yeah. I never really saw. Excuse me. I never really saw the show. I guess you would recommend it. I
Yeah,
mean,
I would recommend it.
okay. All right. Well, for all the people that have not seen the show, what you want to give like a little brief about it, like what it's about?
Yeah,
It.
there's so much to describe here. Jeez, you put me on the spot, but it's fine. It's fine. Basically, it's about the English sailors in I think it's the 17th century.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for their treasure. They end up in Japan during a very crucial time. So they've been held captive, and you have on one side Japan. You also have Spain on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Spain's trying to take more territory in there, and one of the English sailors, who's the master of it, it
Yeah.
tells one of the heads of one of the Japan clans. Again, I'm paraphrasing here. To not trust Spain.
Okay.
So the lead, the Japanese leader, um, obviously takes this very seriously, especially with war coming,
Mm-hmm.
because he's been sort of exiled by the other heads.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so he's leaning on this English sailor's advice and all that, pretty much using him.
Right.
Towards the end of the show, there was promise of him leaving Japan when he's actually not going to leave Japan ever.
Okay.
Again, it's very in depth. I did not do a good job, surmising it, so I apologize.
No, no, you're good. Don't worry about
Sorry, summarizing it. Wow.
it.
Yeah, I did not do a good job. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of people in the comments that are going, Ian, what are you doing? I'm sorry, folks. It's a very complicated plot.
Yeah, what are you doing? No, I'm kidding.
Now,
Um,
if you want a better description, just go watch the show. It's on FX, or if you have Hulu, go watch on Hulu. What I can't believe is they actually greenlit a second season for this when it really should be one season.
well, sometimes these shows, from some of these shows from all we all think like all these shows are only built or made for one season, but they just want to keep going because it's pretty much mostly because of the audience. They
Yeah, there
see,
is a fan base. Yeah,
yeah, they see how much of a fan base it is. They see, um, once they see like it's reached, I don't know, 10 million people or 5 million people, depending on the show, how good it is, or whatever. They think, oh, so many people watch the show. We didn't think it would get this much fan base, blah blah blah, stuff like that. they think, why not? We'll just do a second season, see how it turns out. You know,
If they're talking about one of the leads actually leaving Japan, I'm afraid you're gonna be a disappointment, folks. It doesn't happen in the book, believe me.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know. I dropped a spoiler. I'm sorry. Well, wait a second. This video is gonna be filled with spoilers with our other topics, so just bear with us.
Oh yes, yes. um, but yeah, I will probably since it was that good, since it won a lot of Emmys, I will probably check that show out. I will take your word on it.
Yeah.
So I will see how that show turns out. All you guys out there, I would probably take Ian's, my coworker, my best friend's word on this. Go see the show because he knows shows. When he recommends something and he likes it, he'll he'll recommend it. So I think you guys should see it, and I'll see it too. So
Yeah, and I don't, and folks, please know I don't do this very lightly,
no, he doesn't.
because I'm very crucial and very careful about my recommendations for movies and TV shows.
Yes, he does. He does.
All right,
Um,
let's just get back to some of the other Emmy winners for you for a second.
yeah, there was another one that won. I wouldn't say big, but won a decent amount. Is the show actually The Bear?
Yeah,
My parents actually watched that. I've never seen it myself, but my parents actually watched the show, and I mean, I think they actually like the show. They told me multiple times that they think it's very good. I believe it's on their fourth season. I believe.
maybe.
I could be wrong, but I know they've done at least three.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fantastic, because again, it's a fresher show. It has different type of characters, different environments. So it's
Mm.
always nice to see stuff like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I'm looking at it here, yeah, it is. It was renewed for their okay, so they're on their third season now. It was
Okay.
renewed for a fourth. So,
Okay.
but have you ever watched the show or no?
No, I have not, but I probably should.
Okay,
I've been hearing great things about it, so I have to find some time to watch it.
okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I actually saw which was amazing to me and like interesting was like actually Jean Smart actually won an Emmy.
Well, she's a terrific actress. I mean, come on.
No, she really is. Um, I mean, for me, like all of you guys out there, you know how much of a huge 24 fan I am. She played Martha Logan in season 5 of 24, which she did
Yeah.
an amazing performance on that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. She's an amazing actress.
Yeah, and this is for her show Hacks, which is, very well received comedy show on Max.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, so I was not surprised that Jane would win that, because I always felt that she definitely had comedic timing.
yeah, no, definitely, I agree. So good for her on that.
Yeah. Then we have Jodie Foster, who won Best Actress for Limited Series, True
Hmm.
Detective Night Country. Now, I did actually see this, and she did a phenomenal job. Both leads did a phenomenal job in the series. And True Detective is not really a series I would watch over and over again,
Hmm.
because there's so much depth, there's so much drama,
Yeah,
especially with the main characters. They're so tormented. I mean, jeez. But that's interesting, because you get to see the different layers that there are, in the characters. But I had to say, I had a feeling that Jodie was going to win. I had a feeling, because it was that good of a performance.
no, she's a great actress. I mean,
Yeah,
she always has been.
yeah. I had to tell you though, she's plays the sheriff in the series. But I have to tell you, it's in the middle of the Antarctic. It's a small town, but every time I see her holding a gun, I get that posture,
Yeah.
that stance. I'm like, is she hunting for Hannibal Lecter? Is that what it is? Because automatically, when you think of Jodie Foster, you automatically think of obviously Clarice Sterling from Silence of the Lambs.
Signs of the Lambs, yeah. Which I actually watched a while ago, but she did a great performance in that.
Wasn't he creepy?
He was very creepy. He really was.
No one wanted to ask him for that.
And in case if not a lot of you don't know, it's Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, when she's going into the institution for the first time and she's walking past all the inmates, right?
Yeah.
They're all doing what they're doing. He's standing up straight, looking at her, saying, "Good morning," in a very most pleasant way. But you're like, this guy is sick. So yeah,
Yeah. um, yeah, they actually did make a TV show, a remake, a reboot, or a remake of that. I don't know if you watched that with what was his name? Mads Mikkelsen, I think his name was.
yeah, I did see that. I saw it, the Hannibal. It was very good.
Yeah. I think I watched like a couple seasons of it, but no, it was good.
Yeah, it ended on a bad note though. A cliffhanger. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. But
Okay, moving on. We have obviously best actor in limited series or TV movie. Richard Gadd in Baby Reindeer. Now that was actually a Netflix movie, if I remember correctly.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I believe it was. Pretty sure.
Based on a true story, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm just yeah. It's what was it? It's a British comedy drama thriller on Netflix.
Yeah. There's again because you got the best supporting actress who won, Jessica Gunning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Nominated for 11 Emmys. That's crazy.
Well, there you go. It just goes to show that people really do care about the content, also the subject matter, because
Yeah.
it's like again, a lot of true stories. They do get nominations.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So most of these true stories, like the TV shows or anything like that. Especially like the perfect example was The Crown.
Yeah,
Um, Crown is a true British true TV show that's on Netflix. I believe it's on Netflix.
yeah, it's on Netflix.
But that's won Emmys, for a lot of years, and that's a true story. So that's an example right there.
Yeah, I think another actress that we both know won Best Supporting. Yes, she did. This was the woman who played obviously Princess Diana. Yeah,
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah, very talented actress, very talented woman. But yeah, that show have been nominated for a number of years. It's won obviously in a number of Emmys. Yeah, so the Crown is obviously depicts the royal family, particularly Queen Elizabeth II.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think Olivia Colman plays Queen Elizabeth.
She plays like one of the versions.
One of the versions. Yeah.
There's like three versions. Yeah, the young Queen Elizabeth. You have the middle-aged one, and then you have the older version.
The current one.
Well,
Well,
not now.
not now, obviously, but you know what I mean.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant. I'm sure the audience knew what you meant.
Yes. Sorry, guys. It's
It's been a long week.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so no surprise that she would win, obviously, for Best Supporting Actress playing Princess Diana.
Hmm.
No surprise there.
No, definitely. I mean, I've seen pictures, images of her as Diana. She actually really does look like
Yeah,
Diana. It's crazy.
yeah, it's very eerie. I will say there was one show I really wanted to win, for Best Anime Program,
Hmm.
and that was X-Men '97, and it didn't win. Blue Eye Samurai on one, and that was on Netflix. I was like, come on. The fact that X Men '97 even got nominated for Best Anime Program, it says something.
It definitely says something. I mean, we've seen all this like with the Emmys, with the Oscars, with the Golden Globes, Academy Awards. All these comic book movies, TV shows get nominated, hardly ever wins. I mean,
Well,
we know
Batman
this.
won.
Well, yes, yes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like to these like to all the like whoever like the writers and whoever who votes for this for these movies and shows. It's like comic book really movies and TV shows don't really um aren't really movies to them. I guess if I'm making any sense.
No, you're making some sense. It's fine. Look, I think they're always going to have a problem with that.
Yeah,
They're always going to have a problem with that. So, yeah, that they can get nominations is never going to win, though.
yeah,
But again, the fact that they're being recognized says a lot.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our main topic, which, of course, is the review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Ugh, like
You
I
didn't
didn't
say
say it a third time.
you didn't say it a third time.
No. Yeah. So Michael Keaton returns as the title character, and Tim Burton has returned in the director's chair. I have to say the film was the return of Tim's, weird out there vision.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: they were trying to make a sequel to Beetlejuice for a number of years, and for some reason they just couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out the formula.
Yeah, they couldn't get it off the ground.
Yeah. So it went very different directions. There was one where the title was Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian,
That would have been
and
interesting to see.
then there was a Beetlejuice Western one, I think.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it went some very weird directions, much weirder than the movie ever did. Yeah. Anyway, the sequel was obviously a long time coming.
Hmm.
What I liked about the film, I think I said this in our out of theater, review,
Hmm.
was I liked that it was going with practical effects, very
Yeah,
reminiscent of the first movie.
yeah. I mean, we said this in our out of theater reaction, like you said. Um, it took them 34 years to get them to this point back to this sequel, which is I mean, like you said, they couldn't pretty much couldn't get this sequel off the ground. They tried many ideas, but really couldn't. But um, I guess 34 years is a long time, but um, you know, what is it that I'm thinking of? You know, just took them a long time to make this movie right, and they actually did it right, and it was actually really good.
Yeah, Michael did not miss a step, even in the makeup. Saying in the voice, "It's showtime." It's just crazy, because I had to actually watch a couple of clips here and there.
Hmm.
I watched it recently, where Beetlejuice makes the deal with Lydia.
Yeah,
That deal.
that deal. Yeah,
He turns on the Beetlejuice voice. Then, when she asks him, "What do you want?" you hear him speak in his regular voice. So Michael has the ability to turn Beetlejuice on and off,
yeah,
all on a all on a dime, just
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I mean, there was a well, first Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis did not return for this movie.
Yeah. Um, the explanation was they moved on.
Yeah,
Spirits move on, which is fine. With it is fine. It's a good explanation because you like to think that spirits do move on.
yeah,
They don't haunt the place that they're haunting.
yeah. No, of course, definitely. But that clip you were talking about, like where he turns his voice on and off with his regular voice. There's actually a clip in the first movie there where, which I actually saw. Um, I think Alec Baldwin's character asks Beetlejuice what his qualifications are.
Oh, and he gives out a whole list,
Yes.
in a regular voice. Then he
Yeah.
slowly turns it into his Beetlejuice voice, saying, I saw Exorcist so many times and I loved it each time."
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, here's my favorite line from the first movie. "Go ahead, make my millennium."
I think you could actually play Beetlejuice if you got it down.
Yeah, the way Michael actually does it in the movie, it seems so simple, but it actually isn't because you know there is so many levers to Beetlejuice that you have to reach. I'll give you another example. I'll give you another example. I've never seen that shit before in my life or afterlife. Yeah, I had to do it a little bit deeper because
Yeah.
Michael went deeper.
No, that was actually pretty good though.
Yeah, there's another scene in there that I really like is when Lydia and her fiance, he says Beetlejuice's name 3 times. They get sucked into the model, and they show up at, of all places, a relationship therapist office, and Beetlejuice is the therapist.
The therapist. Yeah.
It's interesting to see how people, the living, react to Beetlejuice. It's very interesting. He had a bride. He was married when he was alive to a witch.
To a witch who yeah.
How best describe this?
Yeah. Devious?
Yeah, she belonged to a cult
Yeah.
and she poisoned him.
Mm-hmm.
But he got the upper hand as well because before he did leave this earth, he managed to throw something sharp at her head. You could say that the relationship was short lived.
No pun intended. Or there was a pun intended.
That was a pun intended. That's why I
Or
hit
was
it at the
intended.
voice there. Yeah, so um unbeknownst to, the dead janitor, in the afterlife,
Mm-hmm.
he knocks into one of the boxes that she has her dismembered, you know, arms and legs.
Arms and legs.
And she starts stapling herself together again.
And she kind of had part of her face off.
What a lovely face. Once it was nice and stapled up, what a lovely face. Yeah, and then stuff happens. She starts sucking souls out of people. Most of the dead. Just to
Yeah.
find Beetlejuice. Just to be with him. For all the wrong reasons.
Well,
But
yeah.
she finds out about Lydia, and she doesn't like Lydia. Not at all.
She was not happy. No.
But I'm sorry, go on, go on.
No, go.
No, go on.
I just felt like, what was it? I think she didn't have as much screen time as I thought she would.
Yeah.
I thought her character could have been in there a little bit longer, but but I mean, she was definitely the makeup and everything was really great. She did a tremendous job. But I just thought, like, if she was really like the main villain of this movie, I feel like she should have been in it a little bit longer. But
yeah. But in the living world, what has happened to the Deeds family? What has happened? Lydia is the host of her own series, where, of course, she's seeing the dead.
Yeah.
But she's also seeing Beetlejuice somewhere lurking in the audience.
She's never getting rid of him.
Nope.
Yeah, as much as she wanted to, she never got rid of him out of her thoughts.
Yeah.
She's tried.
Anyway, in the story, a tragedy happens in the family, and they all have to return to the original house from the first movie for the funeral. And of course, this is for Lydia's father, also Astrid, Lydia's daughter's grandfather. Astrid is not getting along with her mother, mostly because her mother and her father had split up years ago. So there's obviously some resentment for that, and also Lydia's more focused on her television series than she is in Astrid's life.
Yeah.
It's that old chestnut.
Yeah.
So when Astrid is riding her bike all around the town, she crashes into another, backyard and meets a boy. Of course, those teenage romances, aren't they something? Except he's dead. But we don't know that yet. She's in quite a shock when she finds out herself.
Yeah. You kind of get that inkling that he is dead when he actually wears the same clothes back-to-back days.
Or similar clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wants to be part of the living again. So he tricks her to, reading a page from the recently deceased book. Remember the handbook from the first movie? Yeah, it's back in this one. Every dead person gets a handbook of the recently deceased book. So they do, obviously, one of the passages in there open a doorway to the underworld. Unknowingly, she goes in with him, thinking, it'll help him also see her father again. But this kid tricks her because he wants to take her place in the living. So he goes up, she stays down.
Oh, teenage romances.
They never last, do they? Well,
literally.
Some of the lucky ones do. Some of the lucky ones do.
Some of the lucky ones do.
Not this one. This one was dead on arrival. Yeah, that was a pun, folks. I'm sorry. That's the last one. That's the last one. Now, so Lydia, with no choice, she says one name 3 times.
We're not
He
saying it.
appears, and he agrees that he'll take Lydia in the underworld if, as a big if, she marries him. Because he still has the hots for her even after 34 years. Also, wants to get the ex-wife, out of his, out of his way. Get out of her clutches. Yeah, because apparently she's kind of clingy.
No, really? I didn't see
Oh,
that
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, yeah. So she agrees, and they get into the underworld. I have to say, the set design for the underworld was spectacular. Recreating, obviously, the first film, but also expanding on,
Yeah,
especially the waiting room. It's just fantastic.
yeah. Um, you actually do well. You don't see him per se, but you actually do get Charles Dietz is actually in this movie, but you don't really see him.
Yeah,
And,
because of the actors, well, how should we put this? Controversial situations,
mm-hmm,
scandals.
yeah,
They didn't take him out of the movie. Only that's a very smart thing to do. It's a very smart thing to do because you don't
100%.
want a controversy to your movie,
Yeah,
but you still want to honor the character that came before.
mm-hmm,
So he was on an airplane. A very tastefully done claymation scene, I might add. Very well done.
mm-hmm.
Where his plane crashed into the water. He did survive until a shark ate his head.
And there it is.
Yeah, so when he gets to the afterlife, you only see his head. You don't see his head. You don't see his
You
head at
don't see
all.
his head. Yeah,
You just see his lower body.
yeah,
It's again.
helpless. Yeah, yeah.
God, it's like with Jaws. It's like with Jaws. Because I expect to see Robert Shaw in there because he was eaten up by the big shark in that movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, they would have stories there. You got bitten by the lower half, Robert? Ah, this guy bit my head off. I mean, jeez, messed up my shirts. I think I wasn't wearing a hat. Otherwise, you would have eaten the hat too. Yeah. So obviously, chaos ensues when obviously the living ends up being in the underworld. Unfortunately, another Deeds family member actually does die in this
Yeah.
through her own stupidity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the Catherine O'Hara character um, bought some snakes.
We all know how you feel
I
about snakes.
cringe at this, folks, because I hate snakes. I really do.
We all know how you feel about snakes.
Yeah, try getting through Raiders of the Lost Ark. Through those snake scenes. Ugh. Anyway, she buys some snakes that are supposed to be defanged. They're asps. They're
Right.
very poisonous.
Right.
She was assured that they were defanged. Unfortunately, she got ripped off, and one of the snakes bit her. As she was doing I don't think it was a live stream, but she was recording herself
Mm-hmm.
to show her mourning her husband's death. Unfortunately, she gets bitten and dies. Ends up in the underworld, particularly in the waiting room, and she's like, I don't belong here. And that's when she runs into Beetlejuice.
To help her find her daughter.
Yeah. Lydia finds Astrid and also finds Astrid's father.
Mm-hmm.
tells him why he's there. I forget the details though, but it was something about the rainforest. Now, through all the movie, Ashley was wondering why Lydia hadn't seen, her father all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the reason was, but it was a very good reason. It was very, very clear because he was pretty much damned to the underworld. I think. I got to rewatch the movie.
um, yeah, he disappeared in the Amazons in Brazil.
Yeah,
So yeah, I gotta watch that the specific details again, but I do know that he disappeared in the Amazon in Brazil, and that was that.
yeah,
I mean,
but he does help Lydia and Astrid out to go back up to the living through one
yeah.
of the secret exits.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get back up, there's a wedding going on. No, it's not with Beetlejuice and Lydia. It's supposed to be Lydia and her boyfriend because he kind of pressured her into, you know, marrying her on Halloween night
Yeah,
just to boost up her ratings.
yeah. And Beetlejuice actually gives him truth serum on why he was actually with her in the first place.
Yeah, the boyfriend was just after Lydia's money,
Yeah.
which I kind of suspected from the beginning because he seemed like a douchebag.
Yeah.
But in a second turn of events, Beetlejuice actually gives Lydia a punching, a boxing glove so she can punch the now ex boyfriend in the face. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice of him. You ever see that? Then, of course, he wants Lydia to honor the deal. So they try to get married. And it's a very funny sequence because they're playing with MacArthur Park in the song with MacArthur Park in the sequence, and they're all lip singing it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, "What is happening here?" It's hysterical. And then they bring out the big cake, and with Beetlejuice on the top, Lydia on the top,
At the top. Yeah.
and yeah, and they're wearing the exact same that wedding clothes that they did in the first movie, which I thought was a very nice callback. Everything's about to go pretty well until the ex-wife comes back into the picture.
Yeah.
She literally breaks into the chapel screaming his name, and he's just going, "What the f?" I actually like the fact that they actually bleeped, with the F there because I'm like, I think the bleeps are a bit funnier than the actual.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I like that part. That was great.
Yeah, obviously that reunion didn't go very well,
No.
and Astrid found a way to actually, find a loophole in the deal that Beetlejuice made with Lydia.
Yeah. Uh, he did it illegally.
Yep, just to get his way. So he gets back sent back to the underworld. And there's a nice little goodbye between the three Deets women,
Mhm.
as Heather O'Hara's character is saying sent back into the underworld as well. It was a nice goodbye.
What do you think? What do you think of that dancing with Catherine O'Hara and Jenna Ortega?
I thought it was funny. It was so, they must have the best time actually making the movie
Oh,
because you
100.
can really feel it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it kind of brought you back to like um, that dinner table scene at the on the first movie. When Catherine O'Hara, singing and the bananas. What was that? Was that Well,
It
the name
was Deo. It was Deo.
Deo, yeah. But yeah, with them doing that dance scene actually brought me brought me. It wasn't exactly like the first one, but kind of had the same premise to it a little bit.
Yeah, it reminds you of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like the Soul Train sequence at the in both the middle and the end of the movie. I was like,
Oh yeah.
it's a nice callback.
100%.
Yeah, I remember I used to watch that program when it was on. I don't know if that was the actual original announcer. I don't know, but it looked like him. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. Um, but then towards the end of the movie, you and me and Andrew kind of got a little confused at the end, um, where Astrid is actually traveling with Lydia,
Yeah.
and Astrid actually meets this guy, kind of. Um, so she meets this guy, and apparently they get married. So we're like,
No
is
biggie.
this real? Is this what? What is this?
Then she has a kid. Yeah, she's actually in the middle of giving labor.
Yeah,
Well, going to labor, I should say, not giving.
Oliver, yeah,
And as soon as the baby's we find out it's not a regular baby. It's a Beetlejuice baby, and it's crawling around. I had to say I thank God for the practical effects because I think if it was just CGI, it wouldn't have looked as real as it did.
yeah.
But Lydia's had a nightmare. She wakes up in a cold sweat, as we all normally do when we have diapers. Only to discover that Beetlejuice is next to her in bed. And he's like, I had the weirdest dream. Then she wakes up again, a dream within a dream. Then she comes to the horrifying conclusion that he's never gonna let her go. Never gonna let her go.
It's gonna be with her till, pun intended, till the day she dies.
That was definitely unintended. Very, very unintended.
Yeah.
I had to say, the movie did leave you wanting more. You know,
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I highly doubt. I'm pretty sure this is the last one because it took 34 years to do this one. But you know, Tim said like he doesn't he would always make a third one, but he highly doubts that it will happen.
I would have to see a very good script
Hmm.
for it to warrant a third entry. And considering how long it took to get to even do this sequel,
Hmm.
I doubt it's going to come anytime soon.
Yeah,
But the movie's doing very well in the box office.
yeah, I believe it's at Give me a second here. I think it actually stopped at $277.3 million.
That's pretty impressive, especially on a $100 million budget.
Yeah,
And nobody thought it was going to make it that fast. But again, there is a serious fan base about
hmm
this particular character. So yeah, and as I mentioned on the at the theater reaction, Beetlejuice the animated series is on Tubi for free. I had to tell you, I started watching it. I'm like, this was a fun show. I can see why they did an animated series.
Who voices Beetlejuice actually?
Not Michael, not Michael.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, they had to pay him a lot of money to
Oh yeah,
voice. No, but it's a fun series, and it does give you an idea that maybe they could go do a third one. But again, it's probably better they didn't.
yeah. I mean, how much more of the story can you really do? Really, I mean, Beetlejuice's obsession with Lydia, and you know, I mean, if they ever did a third one, I mean, what would be next? I mean, what story would they actually come up with? But
That I have no idea.
Yeah,
But again, those are questions for people way above, our knowledge.
yeah.
But again, we'll see. But yeah, Beetlejuice is in theaters, so go and see it while you still have a chance. Hopefully, it sticks around for Halloween because that would be a great Halloween date.
Maybe I should go see it on Halloween again. Something to think about.
Yeah, something to think about. Yeah, before we go, I did like to mention really quickly there are two Netflix series that I did enjoy. I did watch. One was Terminator Zero. Now, this takes place in alternate 1997, and the lead character named Malcolm Lee has had horrible visions of a future being controlled by machines.
Hmm.
Malcolm knows about Skynet and is trying very hard to prepare for Judgment Day.
Yeah.
But the question we have to ask is, are they actually dreams, visions, or memories? Well, you'll have to find out when you watch it on Netflix. The series is actually 8 episodes long, and it actually does talk about, the previous entries, particularly, going back in time, to kill somebody, you know, the hero sends somebody back in time as well to stop the Terminator.
Yeah.
They do examine, the different timelines because, as we know, time is linear. Every time you go back in time, you just create a new timeline. So they do actually analyze this logic, especially from Skynet in
Hmm.
the series, and it's not sound. It's a very flawed thing. Skynet is literally thinking in 3 dimensions, not fourth. No 4 dimensions. So it's 8 episodes long, and it's definitely worth your while. I'm hoping this could lead to a season two because it does have the potential. I gotta tell you, maybe we should stop with Terminator for a while. Just kind of stop because I am loath to say this. James Cameron did express some interest of future entries. Again, James, maybe we should put the brakes on that for now. At least until you got a good story that you've written yourself.
I like the question is like with his state, like what he said about more Terminators, more plans coming out with more Terminator. What's it actually going to be? Is it going to be more animated movies, TV shows? Is it going to be new movies? I mean, if
We
it's
don't know.
movies, if it's movies, I really think they should stop with the movies. And Arnold is pretty much too old for it now. He
I
really
don't
can't.
think I don't think Carl's gonna do it. Carl's not gonna do it.
Yeah,
Nor should he. I think we should move on.
I mean, we saw how the last Terminator movie worked out. I mean, went nowhere.
Although it was better than Genesis.
Yes, but it started off bad when they killed John.
Yeah, that's when you know. Okay, we're going in this direction. All right, let's
Yeah.
just go with it. Anyway, so yeah, Terminator Zero on Netflix, and also on Netflix is Zack Snyder's Twilight of the Gods. Now this just came out yesterday, and I watched all the episodes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, it's a much darker take on the Norse mythology.
Hmm.
So you have characters like Thor in there, who's a bit of a douche. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna go into that because you guys haven't. Some of you haven't seen it yet. I know Smith, you haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna
But
take a look at it.
yeah, I will say it's very Snyder esque. A
Hmm.
lot of slow mos, a lot of violence. There's a lot of blood and guts in this. A lot of sex.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's best to compare it with Spartacus, which was
Yeah.
on Stars at in the early 2000s. It's that type of violence. It's that type of sex. It's that type of storytelling.
Yeah.
Or even Gladiator. That's another one. But yeah, it was very well thought out, very well animated. It was a very unique style because I don't think I've ever seen that style. It kind of reminds me of those illustrations you see in those storybooks,
Hmm.
specifically where it deals with mythology. So I was like, this is cool. But yeah, definitely check out Twilight of the Guides. It's definitely worth a watch.
All right. Well, there you have it. So again, shows that he's recommended. Like he said, he doesn't do it very often, but those two shows you should watch, and I will definitely check them out as well. So I
Yeah,
will watch them, and we'll talk about it here on the show when I'm done.
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
One last thing before we close, before we end the show. Um, it was actually announced today that um, the the sequel to The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, the script is actually finished for the Batman 2.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's what it's going to be called, the Batman 2, but we'll see. But just really quick, um, what would you want to see in this sequel? That we haven't seen in recent films.
Well, let's face it, Matt Reeves has a very specific, vision for the films. And
Yeah,
it's going to be a trilogy now. He doesn't want the fantastical, villains. His words, not mine.
yeah,
He doesn't want likes of Clayface or Mister Freeze or anything like that. He wants very human villains, and also keep very much in the noir, you know, part of the genre.
hmm,
So I would say, in terms of villains that haven't been used in the movies,
hmm,
let's do the Court of Owls, you know, because they're a secret society that existed way before the Waynes ever came into the picture.
yeah. No, I mean, I think that would be an interesting idea. I would definitely, because that's something we haven't really seen in any of the older Batman movies. So I think that would be a good take, a good take on new villains. And I asked you about this earlier. Um, what you thought of it? You said you wanted to focus more on the Wayne family and everything.
Well, I think they did a very good. I think Matt did a very good. Yeah, I think Matt did a very good job talking about the Waynes, especially in the first
Right.
movie, because they're always talking about them.
Hmm.
They're always in the background. It makes more sense, to continue that. Yeah, because you're like, well, how did the Waynes deal with the court? When they did come into the picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense that they would continue with that, and I hope they do.
Yeah. Same. Me too. Um, I mean, I know they kind of teased the Joker in the last movie, but like, I think they should just stop with the Joker for a little bit, since
Yeah,
the Joker has been. Yes, he's obviously the Batman's main villain, but I think they should just do a new take on it for a little while.
yeah. Maybe for the third film, maybe that would be something that would be worth seeing, but not
Yeah.
the second film.
No, I agree.
Still, we never got to see Ben Affleck and Jared Leto face off with each other. Messed up.
No, I mean you kind of, it's not really a fight really, but you kind of see them at the end of the Zack Snyder cut,
Yeah,
um, but not really a Joker Batman face off like we want.
but again, is what it is.
Is what it is.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for us tonight. I'm Ian Miller,
I'm Andrew Smith.
and this has been Media Talk with Miller Smith. Have a good night, folks.
Night, guys.
If you'd like to follow us on YouTube, just hit that like button and subscribe.